And I read that thing. I had to order that book. Because I don't know how to deal with the online book.
Actually, I printed out the copy. I don't read ebooks too easily.
I don't read ebooks, so
Yeah.
I
I
have
do
printed
audio.
my own. I thought I was the only one.
Mavia, we're in the same class.
I'm dealing with the
Me too. But I realized that mommy read the soft copy because she highlighted points that stood out for her before sending it to us.
Yeah.
So
Because when you
I was going to say that the way to know her mind is to just follow the highlights. You want to just get into
Oh, those I didn't even know this. I
Yes.
just got the book. Okay, I just ordered mine today. It will come to. I've been reading, but I have to hold a book in my hand and underline and write and do stuff. So I'm like, I didn't want to print because it would have been too much. So when I checked it on Amazon, I realized that I could get it the very next day. So before my turn, I must have had a hard copy so that I can, really go again through that book again and just go again through and get some points. Yeah. Who was talking? Was this Sister Mirabelle? Is she back? Okay, I don't know if she's back.
Mirabelle.
Sister Mirabelle, can you hear us? Okay, just continue. Let's see. Hopefully, okay. Then you can. Okay, we're just talking because we're waiting for you. So you are ready. Go ahead. Just go ahead. We find the network.
Amen.
You can go ahead. That's it.
I think she's disconnected again.
Okay, I'm here.
All right.
Hello.
Thank you, Mirabelle. Go ahead. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, like I was saying, because before I was rudely interrupted by the network. So how it tips what makes that sudden shift happen? So what causes the idea to spread quickly and catch on with many people? So we see that the ladies who traveled out of the country into Cameroon for the E-Woman conference at Hilton Hotel, they were amazed with what they came and saw. They were so happy, and I was privileged to be in the room where they started this E-Woman conference that is coming up in July in Delaware, like a joke. I was part of it when they started that. Oh, mommy, there, between the month of
you were
June,
there that day. Okay.
between the month of June or July, we can have this conference in America. How we started discussing. One other lady, she said immediately she gets back to America, see into it that this thing happened, and that is how just went like that. And we are here. This is us in July and expecting the E1 conference to take place in Delaware. And so another example is the face mask during the COVID-19 pandemic. Before the tipping point, that's at the start of the pandemic, many people were unsure or unwilling to wear mask in public, not common. One of those people who I can really remember when some women came in from Yaoundé, we bought the same mask, and my friend and I, that's how we were talking about them. Say, CD one day, they want show na security. They walk out wearing a mask for waiting among people there. And that's how we're talking. And so you see that we see that tipping point. That's the tip about scientists and strongly recommended, and once influential people like surgeons and doctors, when they began wearing them, more people, suddenly it became normal and everyone was expected to wear a mask. So after the tipping, mask wearing went from rare to common very quickly. It was very fast. We saw that stores, schools, airlines, they made it a rule. So this was the moment the face mask tipped. And also, we have the social media example, that's TikTok. TikTok. So before the tipping point of TikTok, adults were not actually interested in it because of the kind of content that was created. We see how interwoven these two are. Since they were idle, they were home, and they were not working, so they were idle, and so they were forced to download TikTok. So it made it to go viral. So they watch a viral challenges like musics that came up. You see people having challenge, they were dancing, this person would be dancing, and some people will be there to rate them. And then you also had funny videos on TikTok that could keep you busy and laughing and maybe forgetting about the stress of the pandemic. And also celebrities used that TikTok and made it explode. And so after the tipping point, TikTok became a top global platform with users of all ages and billions of views daily. And so we will dive into the book and see what's inside. And so the book introduces the concept of a tipping point by presenting the example of TiVo, breaking product that was expected to revolutionize television consumption. So despite having an excellent product, strong PR, and becoming a TiVo failed commercially and financially. So this contradiction challenges conventional thinking about success. And so the author hints that TiVo's struggles stem from a fundamental misunderstanding, not of how or why they did it, setting up a deeper exploration into what truly drives a product or idea to tip into widespread successes. So a project manager and Scrum Master we can use for this this, we can use as an example. So if we see someone who studied project management, let's take, for example, someone who studied project management, studied Scrum. You see that if you give a contract, maybe to build 10 shops to a project manager and to a Scrum master. Oh. Hello, are we there?
We are there. Oh, the lines went off.
We are there.
So where did I end?
Are you talking about TiVo? That you were saying something about TiVo, right?
You were only at the point
Expectation
where an example of a project realized by a Scrum
TiVo.
master and project.
Yes.
Okay. So I was talking about giving a project to a project manager, that's maybe to build 10 stores to a project manager and a Scrum master. Maybe that's a building construction company that has but a project manager, and another one that has but a Scrum master. So for a project manager will get the project. They will start it from the foundation, they will pay before they even get to the customer. But a Scrum master, when a Scrum master does, the master will call for the product owner to come and okay before they can move to the next step. And when they move to the next step, they will call for the product owner to come and inspect till when they reach the stage where they paint, maybe they can paint one of the store, and they call the product owner to come and inspect whether the white, maybe they can paint one wall white, one wall yellow, to see if maybe the product owner may call for some customers who would like to take the shop to come and appreciate maybe the kind of products they want to put into the shop that will bring out the beauty of the product they want to sell in there. And so this one is it explains it's explaining the fact where the author was giving the how or why they did it. So we see that the project manager and the Scrum master, they have two different whys. They have two different whys. And so Malcolm Gladwell's book, that's The Tipping Point, says certain people, they like influencers' help. That's they Malcolm Gladwell, but the author also goes further to say that focusing only on how ideas spread is not enough. That's how maybe why people were forced to wear the mask. They did not know why they were wearing the mask. So we also need to understand why they matter. Some people were wearing the face mask because they saw their favorite and they consider it cute, not understanding the why they are supposed to wear it. So before giving your product or a social movement to an influencer to promote it, you must have a why in this influencer to promote your product or your social movement. So he brings up the law of diffusion of innovations, which explains how new ideas spread in stages. Like I was explaining up there, where we have these ideas, they are in stages. That's we have before it tips, we have the tipping point. So there are 3 different stages of diffusion of innovation. So now we understand both why an idea matters and how it spreads. Then we can create ideas that last and make a real difference. I'll take that again. The law of diffusion of innovations, which explains how new ideas spread in stages. So if we understand both why an idea matters and how it spreads, then we can create ideas that last and make face mask law of diffusion of innovations explains to us the different groups of people and why they put on. So the innovators were the first to wear masks. White, the scientists, healthcare workers, or caution individuals. We have some individuals whom they take good care of their health and they are always very cautious. So this group of persons, they wore their mask early because of knowledge about virus spread even when others found it strange. And so the second group of people were the early adopters. So these early adopters were health conscious or socially responsible people who trusted experts. They trusted experts' advice. They started wearing masks regularly, especially when the nation first recommended them. Also spread the idea, social media, public posts, and conversations. And so the third group were the early majorities. That's the early majority. So these were the more conscious and practical people. They began wearing masks once the benefits became obvious. Doing it like before entering workplaces, shops, or schools, they must wear a mask. So you see that people, they were forced, like maybe you want to get into a bank, you must wear a mask, or you will not get into it. And so we even find that the guards in front of banks, they were very expensive, something that was sold at 100 francs that people did not even have time for it. We saw that it was now sold at 500, 1,000 francs. And so the fourth category of people who wore the mask were the late majority. So these were the more skeptical or resistant at first, only started wearing masks when it became mandatory, or peer pressure, or even legal requirements played a big role in convincing them. Like, for example, here in Bamenda, if a military man catches you in a taxi without a mask, you pay like 500 francs for 5,000. I remember one time when I was coming back from the farm, I did not have a mask. They removed me from the taxi and they started asking me for money. I was like, this money you're asking like this, is it that if I give you this money, you're going to give me a mask, or how are you going to clear? I said, no problem. Since I was keeping other people waiting in the taxi, I had to clear a portion because I was not wearing a mask. And I'm not sure I ever went out again without a mask. I bought a mask and put in my purse because my purse is something that I never forget taking it out. And so the last group of people, the laggards, absolutely forced by strict enforcement. And some people never adopted mask wearing at all, even during the peak of the pandemic. Some people never wore it. And so I will share how it's a tipping point tips how my own small pastry business finally tipped off. Like when I got married, I was just always at home. I didn't really see a reason of doing anything. So I was just bored. And then there was one of my neighbors. So I saw her, she was always doing some small things, frying granite and this and that. So I learned from her and I started frying plantain chips and putting them in stores in my quarter, and it was really booming. And then since I used to fry fish pie growing up with my mom, so once in a while, some people always still call, oh, please, can you fry fish pie for me? I have an occasion and this and that. I will just go and buy flour in kilos and fry it for them, maybe donuts, fish pie. I will just do that until one fateful day, one of my colleagues, she said, it's like, you used to fry fish pie. I said, yes, ma. Then she said, okay, she has a funeral. Maybe I can do small. And her sisters, they tasted it and they really liked it. And so they now huge command. Like I had to supply fish pie for that funeral for 50,000 francs. And I was like, wow. So from there, I bought half bag of flour, I bought 20 liters of oil, I bought sugar in a pack. And so that is how my tipping point was tipped off. And up till today, I have been doing the pastries and even upgraded in it, and the business is really booming. So I will really thank you guys for listening keenly, and I'm open to questions and discussions. Thank you again. Hello.
Thank you so much, Mirabel. Thank you. Thank you. Connecting was not too easy. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful presentation. Before we get on to questions, I was just wondering if someone has something to share, or we bring our questions first before we share our own perspective. But while you were away, Mirabel, I was telling the ladies that I like how you brought it home, how you brought the how you simplified what a tipping point is, and how you used our very own example to make it understandable. So thank you so much for opening it up to us, opening up what a tipping point is. Sometimes we sit in some rooms and we think we know it all, whereas it would just take listening to someone else. It would just take giving a little attention to someone else, and then it will just blow your mind altogether. So thank you so much, Mirabel. Thank you. And I'm wondering if anyone has a question. I can't see you. I can't see my screen, so we have to speak. I know that Patience was in class from the start. Can I be heard, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so yes, we are getting you, Mommy.
Mabia was in class. Lady Love was in class. Those are the few people that I saw when I came in. Now that I can't read my screen, please. Is anybody there want to share something about the tipping point tips? Okay, maybe I ask this question. How do I phrase it? How do you get a tipping point to tip? How do you get to a place where your tipping point tips? Or what are the steps to getting to your tipping point?
And normally, like I said, that it's either a product that will suddenly become popular or a social movement. And so the point behind it is that you will really never know when it will, but the best way for you to get your tipping point to tip is to be consistent.
Thank you.
Is for you to be consistent in whatever thing you are doing.
Exactly. We're listening, Mirabel. Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Is that all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yes.
It's consistent. Yes, it's for you to be consistent and to be intentional.
Exactly.
Yes, and to be intentional because like for example, we have some comedians now in Cameroon whom they just started. That's I can use an example. The guy with the post, he didn't really actually wanted to do comedy. So he just happened to do a VN and he used it on his status and it went viral. It went viral. So he discovered that if this thing could go viral. So he was speaking in this Banso people's language. You know that the Banso people, they have a tone.
Yes.
They have a tone. So he used that to send out a message, and it got people laughing, and that's how people kept sharing it on their status. And that's when it dawned on him that, okay, so he can just do this for fun. So he started doing it for fun, and that's how it just went viral. And now it's now like a profession to him, and it's giving him lots and lots of money. Lots and lots of money. So since he kept doing it consistently and he was intentional about it, you saw that the tipping point, it finally tipped. It finally tipped, and we call it in the Gen Z's language that he blowed.
And now he's trending.
Yeah, he's trending all over the whole place.
All right. Thank you so much. So getting to the tipping point requires consistency. It requires a constant, we're coming back to the book title. It requires a constant fixing of our why, building on our why, staying on it, believing in it. I peeped into a little bit of, anyway, it's not even the peeping. Back in the chapters in which we've studied, the chapters we've studied before, we found the word belief. So it is believing in what you do and keeping on consistently that continually builds your why. And as you build why, you inspire trust. We are being trained, or we are being coached to inspire trust, to be leaders who inspire, not just leaders who lead from a position of, okay, I have this or that, or I am an influencer. We're being coached to inspire people to take action. And in inspiring people to take action, we realize that it takes time in itself. And to get to the tipping point takes time. When we talk consistency, it means that we must put in time and effort. Like Mirabel said, intentionality. Being intentional about our actions, being intentional about the steps that we take. And sometimes we cannot just rely, like Simon Sinek's in this chapter 8, we cannot just rely on what influencers can do.
Mm-hmm.
It is being unreliable to ourselves or untrue to ourselves to just rely on what influencers can offer or on how far influencers can take us. It is very it is rather and how we keep getting people to understand and believe what we do. So I was very happy when Mirabel said consistency. How do we get to the tipping point? Consistency. A part of it is consistency. A part of it is resilience. A part of it is being intentional, not stopping at anything. And then one day we just see, bam, you blow. And you start getting people to buy the idea. Mm-hmm. People buy your idea, how a social movement takes heat, how it starts bringing change. By how, if you ask any leader, if you ask any great leader, I mean, not those that lead, if you ask those who lead and not just leaders, if you ask those who lead, they'll tell you that it's been a process. It is a life of consistency, keeping on. There's always a story.
Yeah.
Story about my noise. True. All those who have reached tipping point, there is always a story. And that's what we listen to. Those are the things we heard at the E-conference. you see where the change came. They can tell you the process. So tipping does not just appear. Tipping does not just land. Tipping does not just happen. It's a process. And I like how he brought out stages. How he brought out stages of a product taking change. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how he brought it out. I'm an innovator. I like to jump in early. When the idea is still new, that's how I jump in, and we'll realize that we all find ourselves at some point on that what I'll term his ladder.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, that's one thing I was.
Yes, Mirabel was resistant to the mask.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? Whereas I started wearing the mask very early. as soon as COVID was announced, I started wearing the mask. You see? So
yeah,
it is so.
I refused to wear the mask because when I wore that thing, I was unable to breathe, and I was like, "What is this?" So I prefer to stay home than to go out because I don't want to wear a mask.
Right. Do we have any other ideas?
Let me see. No, I was just intrigued about that his graph, the population when he talked about when he was talking about the innovators, the early adapters, and early majority. One thing with the innovators is that the innovators, even though it was looking like their population is not much, but if you have just the few innovators that you have can do a lot, because innovators are people that have got their mind, they believe in you, they believe in you, they take risk, they don't care what is happening, like, because you've already put them to a point where they really, really believe in what you are doing. So they don't really care. While the other, or if the early majority are the ones, or wait for people for the fall, like they said, your tipping point is technically I would say the early innovative risk. I would say they are risk takers, because since they believe in you, they might take a risk, because either for better for worse, you can either get it good, or you can get it. You can be the first people to hurry and buy it. It might be good, and it might not good. So that's why, if you have a good number of innovators, it will also help for your thing to blow. It will help. Unlike people that have to wait for the innovators, because normally for the late ones, if the innovators go and they fail, and the thing doesn't really work, they will come back, and then maybe it might not go. So it's kind of, I would say it's a win-win. There's a word that I want to use. It's a word that I'm trying to use, but the thing is, the point that I want to really prove here is that if you have a good number of innovators, you will go far. You will go far. If you have a good number of innovators, you will go far. But if your innovators are not that many, then if you are not sure if you really, if your thing, whatever you're presenting out there, if you will really go. So
Really? That's where we're gonna end up.
Were you guys hearing me? You know, there's a noise in my background. I had to.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, ma'am. We're getting
Okay.
you.
Mm. No, there was a noise
Yes.
in my background, so I had to be quiet for a minute.
We could hear you very clear.
Yeah, no, I would like
Okay.
like just what I was saying about the innovators, that if you have a good number of them who are people that believe in you and that have gone, even though they are risk takers, I would say innovators are risk takers because depending on what you have, if it's something that is good, if they believe in you and they go for it, you will gain. But if it's something you will gain now from those that are coming behind, from the lead majorities. But if the thing is not, if the innovators try it, those that believe in you and maybe it didn't work, and then the lead ones might not catch, might not pick it because they are actually looking for the innovators to see, you know, like from an example that he gave about his sister that likes to buy when something comes out concerning, and it depends too on your belief on what you like. Like he said, the sister who is a fashionable person will buy a jean for this. Once it comes out, she will just say, go buy. But he did not believe in that. But there was something else that he was interested in that when it comes out, he doesn't mind to buy it. So I believe each and every one of us have our things, our niche, that when it comes out, we are either maybe innovators on that particular thing, or on something that there's some things too that when it comes out, we are either the lead or majority on certain things. Yeah, that's just a little contribution that I had just looking through that.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, Lady Love. Yes, there's always that balance. There's always that balance between the innovators and the late.
The early and late
The late
majorities.
majority.
Yes, the late
Majorities.
majorities. Yes. There's always that balance. At one point you are one, at one point you're the other. But you always major in one. There's some people who just love adventure like that, or there's some people who pick the why early.
Yes.
Yes, because you realize that innovators are those who understand people's whys early. And like you call them risk takers, sometimes our why starting when we start with why, we know that we start off knowing that people will not believe us. Yes, but it's how we push it, it's how we craft it that makes it that inspires them. Anyone
Yeah,
else?
and like at the E1 conference in Yaoundé, I believe that so many women were able to discover their purpose coming out from that 2 days conference, because Coach D, she did not just develop this idea in just one day. It took her time because she has been attending other conferences in different countries. And I think it's in one of those conferences that she sat there and that idea just came up that
I promise, like, we can still hit these milestones, like.
Lady Love, can you kindly mute, please?
Sorry.
Thank you.
yourself.
Oh, thank you, Emmy. Thank you so. Yeah, I was saying to Miracle that.
Network has kicked her out.
All right. Like I said, I can't really see my screen. So do we have any more contributions? Emmy? Emmy? Oh.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying myself now.
No. Share what you enjoyed before coming to class. Tell us about when the tipping point hit.
This networking, whether we will put it on party and go on back empty.
We're free to share whatever we. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, Glory, I'm just, while we are talking about people majoring in innovations, majoring in many ideas.
I didn't get the last speak. Please.
I was saying that as we did, when my eye is strong enough, the number of ideas that I emerge a major innovator should be small. Because the more, I believe that the more someone gets a stronger why, they narrow their path and focus their energy on particular things. Thank you.